Hey, what's happening, everyone? JayShockblast here, and check it out. This past weekend, my wife and I actually drove down to New York City, where we took part in Pokemon Go Fest 2024, the New York City edition. This was my second year going to Randall's Island Park in New York City. It was an experience. I've made this video. This is like my third take, all right, and I've gone back and forth about whether or not I actually wanted to post this video because I'm going to complain a little bit, and I hate making videos like that. But I really want to talk about my experience at this event and why it was not a positive one, why I left it pretty frustrated and feeling like I did not get what I paid for, if I'm being completely honest. So, we live just outside of Boston, so it's not like the worst drive to get there. And that's why I've been able to go to it the last 2 years. Randall's Island Park is in the middle of I think the East River or whatever. It's basically in the middle of the river that centers around Manhattan. All right. I think the Robert Kennedy Bridge goes over it. And you could take a land bridge to get there, or you could take a ferry, which is what my wife and I did. Here you can enjoy a rare hatless JayShockblast picture because the wind was so much I took my hat off so it didn't blow away. But that's neither here nor there, okay? I understand that it's pretty tough to find venues that make sense to host this many people. People fly in and drive in from all over the world to go to these events. I know that, just on my ferry rides, I met people from Denver. I met someone from Oregon. I met somebody from Long Island, obviously, people drive in. I heard a bunch of different languages spoken at the park. It's very clear that people traveled from all over to attend this event, and the event itself cost $30. And it wasn't just limited to your 9 to 1 or 3 to 7 event in the park. There was gameplay benefits throughout the city, and I will acknowledge that my wife and I, after walking around that park and her having a little bit of a medical issue that I'll get into later, um, we were ready to go home. We did not intend on driving around the city too much or walking around the city much at all. We did just enough so that we could finish all of the quests and get our. We both got Solagio and our Necroza, and then we just drove home. Okay. I caught over 800 Pokemon during our time from 9 o'clock until about 2:30, 3 o'clock. And my wife caught probably close to 600. And I'm going to talk about my main issue in just a second and why those numbers are important. Okay. You can't do anything about the weather. We understood that, this is an outdoor event. The weather was going to be what it is. And it absolutely torrentially downpoured for about an hour and a half before the event started. The fields were waterlogged, not their fault, understood, okay? But it was also extremely hot, and all of that water just made it that much more humid. So it was not the best environment, if we're being honest, all right? Not 100% their fault. We understood that. Look, I'm a 350-pound dude, all right? I walked around just fine all day. It was fine. Okay, I had a backpack on. In my backpack, we had like 2 liters of water, a bunch of chargers, and a chair, like an actual foldable chair, in case we needed to sit and couldn't find anywhere. So, ironically, never needed it, but neither here nor there. I want to talk about Randall Island Park real quick. I hope they never do another event there again, because the way the park is divided, it's a long strip, okay? 2 areas are here, 2 areas are here, and then there's this big middle area where there's just nothing. And it's not their fault, but it's just this unreachable area, and there's a lot of walking around outside of the perimeter of the event to get where you're going to go. There are a lot of people not associated with GoFest that are probably just associated with the island that have no clue what's going on, just they're herding the cattle between the places. I hated it last year. I hated it this year, and that goes into my wife's issue. I'll get into that towards the end. Let's get into the main problem with this event, okay? When I go out for a community day, all right, just driving around with my Go Plus Plus, because I'm certainly not going to go to a park and walk, all right, just driving around, catching whatever I can. I come home usually with conservatively 15 to 25 shiny in a 3-hour period, okay? And that is not even trying super hard. That's just letting the catcher catch them and deleting anything that gives me like candy, getting the catch 3 bond sweets, and you get one as a reward, like getting shinies that way, because we all know those are the best rewards, the shiny ones, because it's at least a 2-star. All right, I was doing that here too. All right, and I can tell you that I caught over 800. She caught between 500 and 600. I caught 8 shiny, and she caught 1. So there's over 1,300 Pokemon between the two of us, and we got 9 shiny, and 2 of mine were in raids. Okay, and to me, if you're gonna put on a premium event that costs $30, that people are gonna drive in from all over the world to play, you need to do better than that. And I had the same experience last year. I think I caught 10 or 11, and my brother caught like 5 or 6. The shiny rate is just unacceptable. And I know that that was not the experience for everybody, because, you're walking around, you're meeting people, you're listening to their experience, you're listening to them catch shiny. And I heard people that are like, oh, I caught 30 shiny yesterday. And maybe they did a lot of walking around the city, and that's fine. But I feel like if these free or $1 community day events are going to earn you 15 to 25 shiny, you should do better on a community day. Okay. Now, I left space like right here. So hopefully I've been showing you some of the things that I caught. I did not feel like I came out of this event with many Pokemon that are worthwhile to me. I understand it's luck of the draw, it's RNG, all of that. I get it, and that's fine. I would have been just happy if I could have caught a bunch of new shiny that I didn't have. I am very thankful for 3 of the shiny I caught. I got my first Pokemon I touched at 9 a.m. was a Scarf Umbreon, and it was shiny. And I am so thankful for that, because if you don't know, we just got a new dog. Her name is Eevee. Eevee is my favorite Pokemon. Umbreon and Sylveon are like my 2 favorite evolutions. So to be able to get that shiny Umbreon right off the rip, very thankful for that, okay? I also got a Buzzwole and Guzzlord shiny with the New York City background. Very thankful for that. My other shinies that you've probably seen, I got a Ducklet, I got a Furfrou, I got a Z-shaped Unown. I think it's actually my first shiny Unknown. I don't know how to say it. All right, I got a Manatine, I got Finneon, which I evolved. I mean, my wife got a Pancham, okay, which would be great in a lot of settings, but she already had a shiny of that. My wife's not going back to this thing, okay? She got a little bit of heat stroke towards the end of the day, between noon and 1, so we're kind of winding down anyway, and we're being herded back through that little loop where there were no representatives of Pokemon Go Fest. There was no one that could communicate if there was a health issue. And, my wife started having heat stroke. We got her in the shade. There were like 3 New York City employees we ran into. None of them knew what to do. None of them could radio anybody for help. Nothing. Scary. All right. My wife ended up falling. Okay. And like all the people around were really nice. Helped her. We got her up. We cleaned her up. A really nice lady offered her some tissues to clean up a little bit. I mean, it was actually heartwarming because the people that were there cared. Pokemon Go Fest had nothing to offer. Okay. There were medical places you could go. I saw 2 of them amongst this huge park. Okay. So if something was going on, I don't really know how you communicate that other than there's lots of people around and hopefully they can do it. I will say that once we got back over to the main stretch, we were really close to getting to the, to the, where the ferry takes off. A cart with 4 New York City police officers happened to be going by and noticed that my wife looked distressed and did stop and check on her. And I am very thankful for that too. We were okay at that point. We were almost at the ferry. We just need to get out of there. But like, I was concerned at the start of that walk that she needed somebody to like put her on a cart and get her there, because like it was a tough walk at that point with what her body was going through. And there was nothing there, and there was no one there to help. And as a matter of fact, before those New York City officers drove by us, 2 other golf carts drove by with Pokemon Go lanyards. Okay. I don't know who they were. I don't know what they were doing. I don't know what their responsibilities were, but they certainly weren't observant of the fact that she looked in distress. Now, maybe that's the New York City officers training. I don't know. I'm very thankful for the officers, though, because they were great. And the people that stopped to help, because they were great, too. Obviously, I don't know that my wife really wants me to talk about this, but, it's important because we spend a lot of money to go to this event. We spend a lot of money to travel to this event. There's a lot of things that people have to do to take part in this. And again, I didn't really want to necessarily make this video. I would have rather done what I did last year, which was not make a video, even though I kind of felt the same way about my experience. I spent $30 on this experience, and for each of us, so it's 60. Then the ferry ride over was about 60. Parking actually was way cheaper than I thought it'd be, about 20. We stayed in a hotel in Stamford, Connecticut, so that we could be super cheap. $100 right there. $100 for gas, easy. All right. Not the cheapest thing. We spent like $400 coming to New York City to do this. And I just would have liked to have left feeling like it was worth it. And I did not. I did not. Like, yeah, sure, I got some Klefkis. All right. And I did get, a couple shinies that I appreciate. I think I got about 18 raid Pokemon that have the backgrounds, which is cool. A bunch of Necroza. I didn't get a shiny Necroza. I think I did like 20 Necroza raids just in New York City. I didn't get a lot of things. And I just feel like 9 shiny, 6 of them in the wild. That's pathetic. That's really pathetic. It is less than 1% of the Pokemon we caught that were shiny. And I understand drop rates are usually low, but when you have a $30 event, and I understand we got the Solgio and the other things for doing the quests and everything, I get that. But like, I also feel like if you're going to do something like this, the shiny rate has to be higher. Has to be. It just has to be. This is my second year in a row going where I left feeling like I did not get what I thought I would out of the experience. I did meet some cool new people, but I just feel like this was a really big letdown. There's no other way I can put it. Were we cheap and not like staying the whole day and going around New York City and continuing to play? Sure. Okay. I mean, my phone though, like, was overheating the whole time we were there. So it's like hard to even see the screen half the time. And I did lots of shiny checks. I only had 1 shiny get away from me, and it was Namora, and I was very sad about it because I want Namora. I've wanted a shiny Namora since last year. All right. And I can't even tell you how many I actually can tell you because it tells you in the app. All right, I have caught 726 Amora and not gotten a shiny, and that includes hatching, I'm assuming. Okay, it says I've seen over 1,000, and I have 3 lucky ones. I have like 4 perfect Amora, I think. All right, So Pokemon Go Fest 2024, extremely disappointing. I think Randall's Island Park is a bad location because of the way it's cut in half in the middle, and they did not put anybody in the walking area that would be able to help or even communicate that help was needed. It was an unsafe space where if anything happened in that area, you were in a dead zone. And I don't think a billion-dollar corporation, companies making millions of dollars, right? Like, I mean, they're owned by Nintendo. I mean, Pokemon in general makes a lot of money. I don't feel like there should be any area of that space that is inaccessible to aid. And, I really kind of feel like that was a terrible feeling to watch my wife go through that and know there was really nothing we could do. I wish I didn't make this video. I wish I felt differently. I wish I got at least double. Like, if I got double the shinies that we got, so I got like 18 shiny, and she got like, I don't know, 10. I think I would have left feeling a little bit better, but like it wasn't that at all. Like, we got like nothing, and I caught a ton, and I was shiny checking. So maybe I'm whining. That maybe there's those of you that are there that had a great experience, and I'm hopeful for that. I'm happy for that. But as far as our experience is concerned, I just wasn't feeling it. Would we go again? I doubt I could convince her to go again. Would I go again? Yeah, if it's somewhere else. I wouldn't go. I don't think I would go back to Randall's Island Park. I just don't getting there. I just don't like getting there. I don't like being reliant on a long boat ride or having to walk over a bridge, like a massive bridge. And it looked like it was a very long walk from the walking bridge to the actual gameplay area. I ain't about that. All right. It is what it is. So that's all I have to say. I hope they learn from this. I hope they do better. And if you're going to charge people $30 for an event, you really have to do something to make it feel worth their while. Because there are a billion Pokestops, don't get me wrong. There are a bunch of places where you could do raids. But man, was it just cut off in the middle. And didn't seem to matter because I got 8 shiny out of over 800. It's bad. I think you can do better. But I do love the game, and that's all I got.